Hey everyone, this is my intro video. Had a little bit of issues with my first one. Had some technology issues. I kind of just threw one together real quick. But I want to do it the right way. So here's my second attempt for our AEP 855 intro video. A little bit about me. I am originally from Cherokee, Iowa. Actually, I grew up on a farm in a town, or Cherokee, which is in northwest Iowa. Up around South Dakota, Minnesota, and Nebraska. After high school, I decided to go to Iowa Western Community College and play football there. I followed up there at Fort Hays State. I played football at both universities. Currently, I am in my 6th year teaching at Emporia High, and I am in my 5th year coaching football and track. This spring, early spring I should say, I was actually given the opportunity to be the next head coach at Emporia High. So next year will be a new endeavor for us, but I'm looking forward to it. Biggest pandemic teaching challenge. This by far for me is late work. That's why I said it 3 times and again a 4th time. Other than that, getting used to the technology and things like that weren't so bad for me. I really didn't mind, but working with certain students and trying to be open to all of them, just kind of learning with them, I should say, but really kind of having some of that grace that they're talking about and everything else it's got a little difficult, and I'm going to explain a little bit more of that as we go on. What I've learned in the past year, honestly, I feel like it could always be worse. There's always worse situations we could deal with. More adverse things we could be going through. This is it's up there and very trying, but I do think there's always, it could be worse, okay? Next one, don't be afraid to reach out and help somebody, even if you don't want to. There's been a lot of students and things like that where students, teachers put us in kind of a weird spot this year, but they really needed that help. I think it's really good and good for a person to go out of their way to help somebody, not just when it seems like it's the right thing to do, but all the time. Then lastly, I would have to say bet on yourself. Really believe in yourself that you're in the right thing, doing the right spot, and if you're not, to get to the right spot and work towards what you want to be doing. This year's been one of those years for me. I bet on myself. We haven't seen the results yet, but hopefully we will in the next few years to come. But that was a big one for me. First, going through the mindsets that I agree with, I really did agree with all of them. Okay, I do believe that all students can learn. What to me really showed up is all students can learn. It doesn't mean all students want to learn. Teachers working in isolation needs to be stopped. I said I agree somewhat. I do believe there's a time and place to work on your own. I do believe some people work well on their own, but I also believe it needs to be part of a bigger group as a team environment with all your educators and things like that. Like I said, there are some teachers who are really reluctant to work with others. There's some kind of right along with that who, as unfortunate it is, seems like in any situation, there's others who want to see others fail. So having that with that situation kind of made me think of that. Like I said, isolation needs to happen, but with teamwork being the end goal. Lastly, happiness and optimism is a choice. I do agree with this. I think there can be a lot of learning and happiness and success in things that we fail at. Failure sounds like a bad thing and make you not happy, but I do believe, depending on how you look at it, can be a good thing. Some dispositions, confidence, I agree. You have to be confident in what you're doing. It's not about being popular. Risk taker and being decisive, I believe you need to do those as well, especially as an educator in a leadership role. Especially sense of humor. This was really big to me. I think it's really important to be able to laugh at yourself. You're going to make mistakes. It's going to happen. But we have to learn and grow from those mistakes. And you're going to deal with a lot of different personalities along the way. It's just something that's going to happen. Empathetic, assertive. I agree with this. You really need to understand people's situations and where they come from to fully understand them. And lastly, I do believe you need to be a learner. You need to try to learn something every day. I firmly do believe in that. Practices. Focus and prioritizing. I agree with this. As a coach, this is huge. You got to be able to tell somebody no. You really do. And you have to be able to choose simple over complex. With football example, I'm a firm believer in if it's simple, they're going to understand it. They're going to get it quicker. You're going to be more successful. You don't waste time on things that students aren't going to understand. Examining data. This was probably out of all of them the one I didn't agree with the most, but I still did somewhat, so I had to say I agreed. Data is important for analysis. I do believe that, to see kind of where you stand, what you need to improve on, what you're doing well in. But not everything can be measured with data. Okay? That's where the one thing I did disagree with that as. Okay? Emotional intelligence, I agree. Okay? You need to put forth your best effort into treating people the right way. Dignity, respect, make them feel valued, make them feel safe. I think that's incredibly important anytime in education. The principles, personal courage, I agree. I think this goes far beyond schools and education. It is difficult today, just with how things are kind of shaken down in our world, but I still believe in the end, doing things the right way, you're going to be just fine. Public interest over self, it's kind of, team over self, things like that. If it has the team's best interest in sight, I think it's usually a good thing. And education is not about self-gratification. We know that none of us, I firmly believe, got into education, or if we are or we're not, to make others talk about us and things like that. It's a service industry, and that's what we're here to do. Self-control, self-discipline, integrity, I agree with those. I think being a role model is incredibly important in anything, especially education, coaching, things like that. Task and employee-centeredness, I agree with this 100%. This comes out a lot in coaching, to focus on the strengths of what we do well, not what we don't do well. You can't, like the old saying goes, you can't put a square peg in a round hole. And to me, that really hits home right there. Recognizing talent, I think it goes incredibly right along with the last one. You need to highlight what individuals do well, not what they do poorly. Requiring high ethics from everyone, I strongly agree with this. I think as a leader, as a coach, as an educator, you can set a standard and really lead by example. Sensitivity and understanding, I agree with this. All situations are different, and you have to have the patience to understand those situations so you can understand the person. Inclusiveness, I agree with this, especially when it comes to a team setting, a school, things like that. If you give ownership, that's going to mean more to them, and I firmly do believe in that. With my critique, I'm not going to read exactly what I have here, but luckily enough for me, coaching has really taught me a lot of these things. I feel like I do a decent job with them. I would say the area that I need to work on the most is the sensitivity and understanding. I kind of rush through that sometimes. Certain kids, especially in a pandemic, they could be experiencing one thing and be using it as an excuse when another student could really be in a tough situation with that. And it's hard not to completely see, they're just using it as an excuse. Well, this one might be dead serious. So to me, that is one of the biggest things I need to work on. In conclusion, the assignment really showed me some things I do well and don't do well, that I take for granted, and really showed me things I need to work on. By working on these things, I firmly believe that this is going to help me be a better educator. When I can connect with students better, I'll be able to reach them on another level. Same as if I were coaching, teaching different classes and things like that. So I went a little long, but hopefully my second video gets out to all of you. You're able to see that and use it. Hopefully I'm covering my bases like I'm supposed to this time. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at any time. I look forward to learning right along with you this week. Hopefully some of you are enjoying a spring break. I know I am. And look forward to the rest of this course.